Shalom everyone, Shavua Tov, and we are starting this week a new book, the book of BaMidbar, Numbers, or in the biblical way, it's being called Sefer HaPekudim, the book of Pekudim. Pekudim has few meanings. One of them is counting, census. And this book is full of census. They count how many Kohanim, how many Leviim, how many Israelites, how many from every tribe. They count them again, and how many of each, and they compare it. Wow. So if you are into statistics, great for you. Most of us are not. Woe to us. Okay, so what are you going to do with that? First, we have to understand what does it mean for us, what's in it for us, and what we get, because nothing here is just because they have nothing else to write. Okay, so just a story. No story. Vaydaber Hashem and Moshe, we're just in the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 1. And here, they're in the desert of Sinai. And it is the first day of the second month, Taurus. And it's always being said in the end of Taurus. I'll tell you why. On the second year, getting out of Egypt, and it says, Se'u et rosh kol adat bnei Yisrael le'mishpachotam le'beit avotam mispar shemot kol zachar le'gurgolotam. Okay, didn't get it? Translation. Raise the head. That's verse 2 in chapter 1. Raise the head of all the congregation of the children of Israel for their families, their households, and the number of the names, every male. Okay? Miben 20 shana v'mala, from 20 years and up, Kol Yotzei Tzava b'Yisrael tifkedu otam, and then that's a census. And they count them. Why do you want to count them? Why do you want to count them? God wants to count them. If he's God, he should have known. You know, he has the real records up there, right? You can go to the ministry in the government that is dealing with all the statistics, and there will be never to the point. Why? Because people die, people born, and then, it takes time till they update it, the computer, whatever. You're the creator. You should know. Why do you want Moses and Aaron to count it for you? No computers. You know how long would it take? Okay. By the time they finish, it's already wrong, right? So what are you talking about? Why do you have to count them? The whole book you count them. But you have to understand the word is Se'u et rosh kol adat bnei Yisrael. Raise the head of each one of the congregation. And that's what's important. Says Rav Ashlag as further. Rav Ashlag, on his epic article of Love Others as You Love Yourself, explains why is it that this mitzvah, this precept, is the base of the whole Torah, and it's inclusive of the whole Torah. Why this one? And the answer is, and it goes for length, and you have to bear with me, but I'm not going to go that long. He's saying there's two stories that I think most of you already know. That there's a story of the convert who comes to Shammai, the elder, and he says to him, teach me the whole Torah standing on one foot. Shammai gets upset, pushes him away, says this is blasphemy. You think the whole Torah can be taught standing 1 foot? Get out of here. He goes to Hillel, Shammai's colleague, and Hillel sits with him and says, what you don't like to be done to you, don't do to others. That's the whole thing. 100 years later, even more, Rabbi Akiva, with a similar attitude, saying, love others as you love yourself. This is the great ruling of the Torah. The word in Hebrew is not ruling, it's klal. Klal comes from the word kolel, which means the whole inclusive. And Rav Ashlag is asking, why these two? When they want to show you what the whole 5 books of Moses are about, gives you the issue of loving others as you love yourself. And Rav Ashlag explains, when you try to understand what the Torah is about, as we said and we learned in the book of Leviticus, it's about holiness. It's all about holiness, because when you keep going by the rules of holiness, WH, then you become holy. And why do I need to be holy? I have some banking accounts to take care of. When I retire, I'll have time to be holy. Some people say that. Okay, now life. And the answer is no, 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 no. Holy means WH. How do you create a life that is holistic? That means that you enjoy what you do and you do what you enjoy. That you love your life and your life is about love. That's what we're talking about, wholeness and holiness. It's not about something somewhere. A lot of people, religious people, Jewish people, say, oh, holiness, Kedusha is separated. That's a wish-wash. You know what's wish-wash? It's like you're trying to say nothing to do with me. Why? Who am I? I'm just a simple person. I'm going to be holy. Oh, there's some rabbis in Jerusalem, in Tzfat, maybe Kabbalists, they're holy. I'm a simple person. Me and holiness, I have to go out to make a living, I have to raise my kids, so much headache. When would I be holy? And the Torah says, look, do you want your business to be fruitful? You have to be holy. Your business has to be holy. Your dealings have to be holy. The way you make commerce, you make contracts has to be holy. If you don't do it holy, everything goes down the drain. Nothing will be left, only heartache, because it's going to be from one failure to another. You have to tap into the grid of the Creator, and you have to be holy for that. So you feel love and you feel fulfillment in whatever you do. That was the last parasha. Now, so what's the connection to this parasha? They're always connected. Parashat BaMidbar is always before Shavuot. And Shavuot is always on the borderline right now between the sign of Taurus and the sign of Gemini. What do we have in Taurus? In Taurus, we learn to connect to love. Why love? Taurus are very practical people. What's in it for me? As always. And if they don't see what's practical about something, moving them is almost impossible. Why? What for? Just do something without a reason? Are you crazy? Wasting my life, wasting my time. Why should I? The moment do you see them moving, it's because they have a reason and they know and try to stop them. It's not nice when an ox gores you on his way to his goal. You shouldn't stand on his way. Okay? But the real practicality is because the planet of Taurus is Venus, Noga, and that's a planet of love. Which means if you're practical, you have to be dealing with love. And Taurus in Hebrew, Shol, in numerical value, Shin is 300, Vav is 6, and Reish is 200. 506 is Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love. If you really want, as we said, Taurus don't like to waste their time. They really hate it. They know what to do, they will do it. If you're not so sure, don't come and tell me stuff, nonsense. You have to be practical. Practical means in the real world, if you do something and you know there are not going to be fruits coming out of it, you don't do it. You really want to be successful, you have to be connected to love. Why? Because love is not something you do in your spare time. Love is what is infused into success. Somebody who's successful and he cannot love, it's a myth, he's not successful. The guy is miserable. If he cannot feel love to the people around him, he's not successful. If you're successful, you'll be loving. Very simple. Very simple. Okay? What's the problem? That it's simple. It exposes the lies. A lot of people, they go around, I'm successful, I have money, I have this, but you don't have love in your life. You don't have patience to people. You can't care for other people, so you're not successful. Yeah, you're sitting alone. Ah, you have, let's say, you have a trophy wife, you can't stand it, she can't stand you. That's love? You don't have love. So what do you have? Nothing. You're miserable, you're poor, you're garnished, right? That's it. How to apply it? That's in Shavuot and Gemini. What is Gemini? Gemini, the symbol of Gemini is the twins. What did we get on Mount Sinai? 2 tablets. Why 2? The Creator cannot write a smaller font to give you 1 tablet. Huh? Of course he can. Why giving us 2 tablets? Because it's always about me and you. It's never just about yourself. You want, says Rav Ashlag, if everything is about love others as you love yourself. But what about God? Says Rav Ashlag, God, leave him alone. First of all, you have no idea who's God. Why? Most people, most of the time, they're so busy with themselves. Knowing God, it's like you're so much deep into yourself. Yeah, there's no, he's so full of himself. You know what the Talmud says about it? Whoever is so full of himself, me and him, we can't live in the same place. Why? He's so full of himself. There's no place for me, says the Creator. In order for you to have place for me, you have to give me space. And when you give me space, says Rav Ashlag, the only time you give God a space is when you get out of yourself to be there for somebody else. That's not easy. It's against human nature. Human nature is, it says in Parashat Bereshit, Genesis, Ki yetzer lev ha'adam ra minorav. The human heart, its inclination is evil from youth. You're born with it. Did you ever see a real altruistic child? That's not really. They're about themselves. As you grow up, you stay a child, but you're a grown-up child. You're still about yourself. Getting out of yourself, says Rav Ashlag, whoever learns psychology is almost impossible. Really being there for somebody else, this is totally not natural. It's above nature. That's called a miracle. What's a miracle? A miracle is the Hebrew word nes. What do you say in English? What's the definition of a miracle? Something that is beyond nature, right? So if the human nature is selfishness, loving somebody else authentically, that's against our nature. This is a miracle. This is a miracle. It's all about what's in it for me. Let's admit it. Because if you do not admit that you have a problem, you cannot have any solution prescribed, right? So, says Rav Ashlag, that's why you have to care for others. Even though in the beginning you're not doing it so authentically, you have to be there for others in order to train yourself to get out of your own self. Because when you're just there in yourself, this is the most horrible prison in the universe. Being stuck in yourself. Why? It's the darkest prison ever. And that's why it says, Reshaim bechayehem nikraim metim. Evil people, but it's not, doesn't mean it. Rav Ashlag says it's not evil people, it's selfish people. They're dead while they're still alive. Why? The moment you're busy only with yourself, the light of the Creator cannot diffuse in. So you're just dying. Whatever infusion of life you got on the day of your birth, then you just simply eat it up till you consume it. And you know how's the feeling when you go around with your phone and you can't, and it doesn't charge? You know, you live on a borrowed time, right? Every minute passing, every phone call. If you need to ask Google a question, oh, Do I really need it? Because it's like my battery, I can't charge it, right? That's what happens when a person is selfish. There's no charging. Everything you think you're charging, you're wasting. Terrible. Of course, you have nothing to give to anyone because you live in this horror. I'm dying. Subconsciously, you're dying. So you want to live. You really want to live? Do something for somebody else. If you really knew that, you'd thank them so much that they gave you the opportunity to get out of yourself. So you don't love others because you're nice. You love others because you want to live. And that is your lifeline. If you do it because this is your lifeline, that will be different. Then you don't just give them charity or you do him a favor. You really do it as equals. As Rav Asher gives the example. The story is about this very, very, very rich person. He builds himself this huge palace. Everything is like the most precious marble, gold, art that you can get, that money can get. And he's watching this building happening and he's so proud of himself. Then he says to himself, this is too filthy rich. I have to do something spiritual over here. So he says, you know what? I'm going to make a vow. The first person to eat in this house, in this palace, will be a homeless. So the day comes. He does the inauguration, the coronation of the house. He invites his all rich friends. They're all wearing like all of this like fancy schmancy clothes. He gets the best chefs in the country to cook. Everybody sits down to the meal, the dishes you can imagine, how it looks like, and all the decorations and the music and the valnis. Can you imagine the setup? Then suddenly, the owner of the house says, "Stop! Nobody eats." He remembered he has a vow. He tells one of his servants, "Get out to the street and bring as soon as possible, as fast as possible, a homeless, and he has to come over here." So they go out, they bring a homeless. The guy looks terrible. The owner gives him a seat next to him. He says, "Eat." You could be really poor, you could be really hungry. But most people, even the hungry one, when they have a choice between their pride and their belly, they choose the pride. And this poor guy, homeless, sits there in front of this fancy schmancy dish. He looks around, everybody's staring at him. Nobody knows what's going on. And he feels like it's very dishonoring, right? And he says to the owner sitting next to him, like, "You don't have entertainment anymore." It's like, "You want to shame me in public? Why don't you give me, you want me to eat? Give me some scrapes from the kitchen and throw me to the street. I'll be happy." Now I'm sitting over here thinking, look how do I look like? All of these people watch me like I'm just came from the zoo. I want to be here. Let me get out of here. I don't need your food. Let me get out of here. I have also some dignity as a human being. And owner says, "No, you're hungry. This is a very good food. Eat it. It's delicious." I can't. Everybody's watching me. It's so shameful. I'm ashamed. Let me get out of here. Time, the food is getting cold. People don't understand what's going on. They don't have patience. And the owner finally says, "Let me tell you the truth. I made a vow. The first person to eat over here is a homeless. Nobody can eat before you eat the food. Save my dignity. Save my party. Eat. For me. Do me a favor. I need you. I need you. I need you. You have some mercy on me. Eat." So the homeless says, "You want me to do you a favor? To eat for your dignity? Okay, I'll eat. I'll do you a favor." And Rav Ashlag is saying, who is sharing with whom? Is the owner sharing with the homeless or the homeless sharing with? So sometimes when you take you give more than you take. And sometimes when you give, you take more than you give. In this world, we can do both. Two people can share and give, and both share and give. So not always the giving is giving, not always the taking is taking. So, but when you understand the purpose of this life, of this universe, you know how to use it as a method to live. And that's why you understand that love others, they don't do you a favor. They do you a favor. They do you a favor by saying, yes, I'll eat what you give me. And you should thank them. So sometimes it looks like in the physical realm that you are the giver and you're basically the recipient. So, and you have to be appreciative of that. So says Ravash, like that's why Mount Sinai revelation, we were given 2 tablets, love others as you love yourself, because the symbol of Gemini is the twins. You can never be yourself without the other you can share with. Because without the other you share with, you're just stuck in yourself and you're dead. You're dead. Off the grid. You think, oh, you have a lot of friends. Yeah, money can buy friends. Do you want these friends that your money can buy? Yeah. Oh, money can buy love. Do you want that love that your money buys? Yes. Money can give you like company. Do you want the company that your money buys? Is that what you want? No, you don't. You don't want. Of course you don't. But you have to start somewhere. So start with giving. And even though you know you're giving for your own ego, that's okay. That's okay because you already know you have a problem. And the moment you know you have a problem, says Rabbi, like you're dealing with it. So when you give to somebody and you think, yeah, but I really want to connect to God, that's okay. You know your problem and you're still working it. And anyway, you're still helping others and the light they get goes through you and that cleanses your darkness. So that's why Mount Sinai revelation was on a Gemini, the twins, and you got the symbol of the twins, which is the 2 tablets. Love others as you love yourself. Why? The moment you learn how to get out of yourself, you know who do you meet out of yourself? You meet the Creator. He was there all the time. He's there all the time. But you were so busy with yourself, you can't see him. Only when you train yourself to get out of yourself, then you'll meet him. Then you can share with him. Then you can be a companion of him. Then you'll never feel alone. Because then you connect to the real love, to this universal force which is called love, the oneness of this universe. It's an entity. That's a power of life. Then you will feel free. Now, says Rav Ashlag, so why the Torah was not given to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob? And the answer is you cannot really have it as a one person. You need to have a community. As it says, to raise a healthy child, it takes a village. But here comes Rav Ashlag and he's saying, in order for having it real, you need a minimum number, critical mass, 600,000 people. If one is missing, the Torah cannot be given. You know, it is, if somebody had this experience being in a Jewish minyan, they try to get together to pray, but you can't, if you have 9 men, it doesn't work. You need 10. You need 10 present. Okay? You start praying, suddenly somebody had the phone call, you know, people have to answer. You know, have to answer. This is today's idol worshiping. The phone, everything you live through the phone, you experience through the phone. If you experience something great, you have to take a picture. Hello? Experience it. No, you have to put the phone in between you and you can't, you're just taking pictures. You don't experience anything. You just record. Well, you're a journalist, you get, a licensed journalist. It's horrible. So if one got out for a phone call, you can continue with the procedure. Why? Because it's 9 people. You need 10. Everybody screams, come over. The phone is not important. Come here. Get together. We need the 10. We need 1 for minion. Here, to receive the Torah on Mount Sinai, we needed 600,000 people. If you were not there, the procedure wouldn't start. Everybody counts. Se'u et rosh bnei Israel means it's not counting them because God needed to know how many. If there are no 600,000, I'm not giving the Torah. No. It's not to count everyone. It's to make everyone feel accountable. It's a difference. In English, it sounds almost the same, right? Also in Hebrew. Somebody, you can say, lispor, sofrim oto, when you count him. But sofrim oto means you count him in. If you really want to understand what does it mean, love others as you love yourself, that means to make the other person feel that you count him in. The moment people feel that you count them in, it's like they walk differently. They think differently. They behave differently. They produce differently. Right? The moment they feel nobody cares for them, it's a different realm. They will not produce, they won't feel right. It's like the first thing, if you really want to create a functional system of real love, it's not you love them because you're comfortable right now. It's to make people feel that you count them in. You see it because in this parasha, we count everyone. Reuben, the tribe of Reuben, Simeon, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, in different order. Okay, because in the desert they have a different order. But still, everybody is being counted in because without one of them, it doesn't function. It's not because, but some tribes are more important. Like Yehuda got the kingship. Levi got the priesthood. Okay? So it's not, what about Reuben? He was the firstborn. Why didn't get the kingship? And the answer is like, somebody made a mistake, somebody didn't make a mistake, somebody was working harder. It doesn't matter. But when the moment comes, you need everyone. Everybody has to be there and everybody counts. In the biggest company, sometimes the CEO will fall because one of the not very significant workers did not do what he had to do, and therefore his supervisor could not bring what he was supposed to bring. And then when a CEO needed the project to be done, it was not done because one little guy didn't do his job. Simply because of that. Why? He didn't feel they counted him in. He didn't feel it's important enough. So he was not motivated. So he tried, it worked. Okay, I tried. You know what I'm talking about? The moment you make everybody feels that they are really important in the big picture, everybody will be on the system of Kedusha. What do you mean Kedusha? There will be fruits to your labor. In the moment people don't feel you count them in, there won't be fruits. Why? There will always some delay, something will be stuck. Not now, tomorrow, not tomorrow, the day after. Sooner or later, things will go. And then the whole thing can disassemble. It can die while walking. How many companies, it looks okay, but suddenly, whoops, what happened? Oh, this disease started a long time ago. Everything fell apart. Nobody realized. Why? Because nobody cared for each other. So when you don't feel this stress, the need of every little guy or girl or person in the company, this company is gone before it even started. But that's what we learn in this parasha. Why? Oh, because we have a project. The project is called Moses and the Israelite nation. Wrong. That's not the project. The project is called life. Moses is giving us the tools for life. You have a family, you work in a company, you're part of a village, you're part of a society, you're part of something. These are the rules for making that something functional. Very simple. Functional. What does it mean functional? That you have your own effort, you put your effort, you put your labor, and you see results, good results, because you do it right. And doing it right, first of all, you have to make everybody feel accounted and that is being counted in. And that's called Nasoseu et Rosh Kol Adat Yisrael. Why does it mean counting them? Why do you call it raise the head? Because when somebody feels he's important, he raises his head. When somebody is being told you're not important, 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 we do you a favor that we hire you, we give you, but whatever, you get even too much than you're not supposed to get, but how does he go? Put his head down. You know what? When he feels that if he's zero, like, some companies, there will be those people who always make sure to find your place, that you are nothing, that you're zero, you're good for nothing, whatever. You know what does it mean? You're shooting yourself in the leg. Because when a time comes and you really need that person, he won't be there. He doesn't believe he's important. You told him he's not important. He says, oh, okay, it's not important anyway. I'm just there because somebody's doing me a favor. He feels mercy for me. He feels sorry for me. That's why he let me walk over here. So what if I didn't do it? Doesn't matter. The chain reaction, the butterfly effect. One is missing, one little piece is missing, a little piece is missing, and finally, a whole company is out of the game. What is the game? Competition, competition, competition. It's like in the ocean. The sages are saying, the bigger fish eat the smaller fish. But then a bigger fish comes and eat the bigger fish because it's a big fish eating the bigger fish, and then the bigger fish will eat. That's how it is. You want to keep yourself above? You have to make everyone feel that the company needs him pushing it forward. You push a little bit, you push a little bit, you push a little bit, it accumulates. Without you pushing, it won't be there. So it's 12 tribes. Each of the tribes has to be there. Because each of the tribe is important. If you're not there, the whole thing will fall apart. Yeah, but I'm not as important. I mean, when everything falls apart, nobody's important. When we are successful, everyone is important. Why? Because success, everybody has a share in it. And if you don't give everybody the feel that they have a share in the success, it's not a success. Certain companies, you see the CEOs today especially, they take the cream, they drain the company, they make the workers feel like, what are you doing over here? You're a nuisance. What happens to these companies? They fall apart. Oh, the CEOs, they run away with the cream to take over another company and to destroy it also. I feel for these people because wealth that is coming in such a way is a curse. There's no blessing in it. There's no holiness in that. It's robbing. It's coming on, but people did it for centuries, for millennia. What was feudalism? You go in some places in Europe or let's say in America and you see those like huge palaces. And you think, on those days, what was the production of a farmer? Most of it was taken away for what? Because somebody wanted to live as a king. Who paid for it? Those farmers, those serfs. Do you think there was a blessing in those huge palaces? No, only misery. Only misery. Why? You cannot do it this way. And there are people, probably the reincarnation of those feudal rulers, and they still think it's just, you can go on with the same game. And they don't realize, why is it that you have like so much and you feel like you have nothing? That you don't really have love with your spouse, not with your children, not with your siblings. Because why? Because you never been for someone else. Never been there. You never felt somebody else. You never cared for somebody else. So you just, as more as you take, היש לו 100, רוצה 200. So the sage is saying, it doesn't matter. You have 100, you want 2. You have 200, you want 400. It's never enough. You have this Midas curse. Whatever you have, it will never satiate your huge appetite. It's a huge curse. Why? You did not really feel. You do not really care. You do not count others in. It was only about you. It was only about you. It's all fake. So, yes, Moses is creating this company, huge company, a nation. He creates a nation. And know what? He succeeded. 34 centuries later, this nation is still there. It's still viable, not just viable. There's almost no place on earth that people didn't hear about it. This morning, I meet this guy from Tonga. He says, I want you to send a blessing from Jerusalem to the kingdom of Tonga. Do you know where is Tonga? It's like 5 hours flight east from Australia into the Pacific, right? Like, they heard about Israel. They are coming, sending messengers to Jerusalem because, I mean, this is the holy city in Tonga. You know what I'm saying? Who did it? Who created this venture? Moses. By making everybody feel he's being counted. By raising everybody's head. You know what? You're important. Without your work, the whole system is meaningless. And that's what Rabbi Zachariah is teaching us. Every one of us is a reincarnation of one part of Adam. And each one of us is supposed to manufacture and create some holiness in this world. And without my job, your job, humanity will never be a whole. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, humanity will never be complete. The whole of mankind will be waiting for you finally to connect to your true self and bring to the world what you're supposed to bring to the world. And you're important because of that, because nobody else can ever do your job. And that's why Rav Ashlag is saying, why is it so important that people will feel freedom? Because if you're trying to oppress people, you start with your children. Like forcing them to be what you think they should be and not trying to listen and to guide them to become what they're supposed to become. Oh, I know this is tough as a parent. This is very tough. It's like you're walking on eggs. What to say, what not to say. I don't want to prevent. I don't want to expect so much. I want them to become what their soul is supposed to become. And I'm not Moses. I'm not Rabbi Zachariah. I don't know. I can only guide with love and support and trust and raise the head that they will feel important. Till finally they find their calling and they'll bring to the world what they're supposed to bring, because Rabbi Ashlag is saying, if you oppress somebody and you don't let them manifest themselves, and they won't bring to the world their unique enlightenment or whatever they're supposed to bring to the world will be missing that, and then the whole project, which is called humanity, will be missing that thing. And everybody will run around. Where's that thing? Where's that thing? Oh, because somebody didn't do the job. And now we can't launch whatever we have to launch the greatest of humanity, because somebody did not bring this little thing, that without it, sometimes you have this huge thing, let's say a computer. Could be like the most important computer in the world. Okay? The biggest. Okay? The brain of one of the most important systems. But the guy was supposed to buy the plug. Forgot to do that. Now, without the plug, what is this computer worth? Can't plug it in. A simple plug, right? How much that stuff is costing? $1, $2, nothing, pennies. Okay, but the guy was supposed to go and bring it from Home Center, or Office Depot, whatever, Home Depot. He didn't bring it. Now we have to wait, the Prime Minister, the President, the UN, everybody, they have to come to watch that miracle. Computer never been launched before, but the guy didn't bring the plug. Everybody has to wait because he didn't do his job. He didn't think it's important. Nobody told him it's important. Everybody was telling him, you're not important, you're nothing, you're just hanging around here because, what are you going to fire you? No, we have a family, we'll stay here and do all kinds of errands. So that errand he did do. Okay? I'm exaggerating. It's not about the plug only, but it's like every person has to do something that without that, we're not complete. The moment everybody understands their mission, sometimes you see this guy who's cleaning the streets, okay? He's responsible for your street, and he's so proud that this street is clean. You look at this, it's like, wow, everything is in perfect state. It's important. For him, that's his kingdom. That's his kingdom. And you have to give him the feel that that's his kingdom, and you're proud of him that he does his job properly. Why? Let's say you tell him, no, cleaning streets is nothing. Why? You don't want your child to clean the street. Okay? But that's his calling. He's proud of it. Why not honor him for that? Because he's there, the right person in the right time, to do the right thing. Can you imagine, you want to do something really important, but you can't get out of the house because there are piles of garbage? Okay, you stay home. Okay, why? Because somebody didn't do his unimportant job. There's a joke, about this husband comes every time, he comes home and he's like, he had a hard day, and his wife is housewife. Okay, she's just a housewife. Not very important. And he's like, I'm working so hard, I'm working so hard. Okay. One day he comes home. His wife is slouching on the couch. The house is full of garbage. Laundry everywhere. Like games, whatever. The kids are crying, they're hungry, they're dirty, whatever. In the kitchen, there's just dishes and no food. And he's asking his wife, what's going on over here? So she says to him, you're asking me every day what you're doing? Today I didn't do it. Okay, so you never take people for granted. You always count them in, no matter what they do. You always have to empower them to do even more and to do what they do the best, because you never know what's coming out. And you always, if people are functional around you and you care for them, then all of this book, which is called the Torah, can be applicable. But if you don't do that, so what are you doing? Nothing. You're nothing. That's why it says love others as you love yourself. But if you don't really love others, that other and whatever, the system won't function. So after we learn it in the book of Leviticus, now we have to learn that it's not just me and you. It's all me and yous that we have. All of them. All of these interactions are my way, your way, our way to manifest what's in this book. Because when we follow this book, we are going to experience amazing life. Because it's the same thing when there's a big machine and everything ticks, everything works, everything is taken care of, and every piece is in its right exact place. It feels like heaven. Wow, it's walking. And we are humanity, we are just a big machine. And each one of us is just a little part of that machine. If you don't count people in and you don't empower them, the machine won't tick. Won't tick, and you're dependent all your life. You just depend on other people. So one day, it's a story. You have to. I needed something really important in one of the ministries in the government. I go to the office. Today almost everything can be done on the internet. So I go into the internet. I download the document. I fill up the form. I do everything that I thought I should have done, and I went to the office I thought I should have gone to. I'm standing there in front of this lady that is working for the government. And I says, here it is. And she says, this is not it. And it's also the wrong office. So that was the address. And you're thinking, you're waiting in the traffic, then you're waiting in line, and then she's telling you, it's not here, and it's not the form, and bye-bye, get out of here, because I cannot serve you. So how do you feel? The first reaction is frustration, right? And another frustration, then it's anger, okay? And who can you vent your anger on? Oh, this poor lady. But you have to walk your talk. And I'm saying, stop the reaction. First of all, you're not supposed to be reactive, and everything is for a reason. And second is, what do you want from her? It's not her fault, right? Let's say somebody on the internet made a mistake. Okay, why should I vent my anger on her? How many times people just vent it on you just because you happen to be standing there, right? So I say, okay, you have to connect to the light. You have to empower yourself that you can really take it easy and powerful and great with greatness. And then I find myself telling her, look, I'm standing over here because I thought I should be here. If I go out of here, I have no idea where to go. Okay, you have to understand me. You have to believe in yourself, I tell this lady, because you have to believe in yourself, because I believe in you that you can find an answer from me. Although you don't know right now, but I know you can be my help. I gave her all the empowerment in the world. You know what happened? She got this boost of energizer. She started to make some phone calls. She almost called the minister. She comes away with this glorious, I know what to do. I cannot authorize this form, but I found the lady is responsible for that. It's another city. You won't be there on time, but tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m., she'll be waiting for you. She'll give you a stamp on your form. You don't have to fill up another form. And everything's okay. She's waiting for you tomorrow. She knows you're coming. And she was so excited about it. And I looked at her and I said to myself, that was worth it. When I met her, she was so she looked drained and tired from everybody's complaints, and she and bored from her job, and she was so excited. I said, okay, so I made somebody happy. The next day, I go to that place, and she was waiting for me. She was waiting for me. That lady, she talked to in another city, and she takes the phone, but she says, unfortunately, it's not your fault, but last night at midnight, and a new law took place, and it's a different procedure. He says, I apologize, but it's a new law. It just took place in midnight. I said, that I was there with the form in your office, but in another city. She said, you know what, you're right. I said to her again, you have to feel that you know how to solve my problem. You just have to just believe it, that you can, because I believe in you. She said, stay over here, I'll take care of it. She went to the supervisor, stood there, I saw, because there was a glass wall. She was standing there, and she was standing in there. Phone calls were coming. She was standing there. He found the supervisor. You could see the body language. Okay. She came back. We won. She approved it because you were here yesterday. Because I got this phone call from the other one. So I'll fill it up. It's okay. Suddenly, all the computers in the office collapsed. There was a power failure. She said, don't worry, I'll fill it up. You can go home. It's okay. And she did. And that is the place when you take somebody that you feel it's your enemy. And they're not your enemy. They just simply don't feel they have the power to help, and they're simply frustrated. Don't go at them. It's not their fault. You just have to empower them, because that's what love others is about. And you'll see magic, because the most simple people, the moment you empower them, they can do wonders. Right? So this is what this parasha is about, that everybody will be counting, and that's what Mount Sinai Revelation is about. Everybody counts. That God said, if not everybody, I'm not giving the Torah. Everybody should be here. 600, all 600,000. If one is missing, I'm not giving. So you need everyone to be there. So let's say somebody didn't feel well that morning. Everybody had to take care of him. You have to feel well, because you have to come with us to the revelation. If you don't come, we won't get the Torah. Getting it? So we have a crazy, amazing week in front of us, and the celebration of Mount Sinai in front of us. And we have also to celebrate that we live in such an amazing times, because the whole world is transforming very fast in front of our eyes. And what Rabbi Shimon said, remember it. I say it many times, I'll say it again, because my teacher was saying and his teacher was saying. It says in the book of Exodus, Rabbi Shimon raised his hands to the heaven. He cried and said, woe to those who would live in this time, and praiseworthy. Happy the ones who will be able to live at these times and stay connected to faith, emunah, and holiness, because they will see the celebration of the happiness of the King. So we are in this time that everything is becoming more intense, more intense. If we are connected to the Torah, to the Zohar, to holiness, to spirituality, to be there for others, because the Zohar speaks about it. And the Zohar says, verse 11, Bore, come and see. Mi she'omer shivcho shel chavro, whoever speaks about the success of another person. Mi banav, he has great kids. Mi kaspo, he made a lot of money. He has a great business. Tzarich levarcho, if you talk about somebody's success, you have to bless him. Uleodot al barachot, and to thank God for the blessing that that person has. How do we know? We learn it from Moses. When he says to the Israelites, V'inechem hayom kikochvei hashamim la'or, and he says, you are today many like the stars of the heaven. And then what it says? לאחר כך מה כתוב? השם אלוקי אבותיכם יוסיף עליכם ככם 1,000 פעמים. God, the Lord of your fathers and forefathers, will add upon you thousands of times. Whenever you say something good of somebody, never limit it. Always open it. Always say, you're so successful, I wish you'll be even more successful. You're so happy, I wish you'll be always more happy. Your life is great, I wish your life will be even greater. Why? Because when you open it, when you're sensitive, to know that, it's not so kind of clear that everything is going to be there the way it is. When you speak about somebody's success, you always have to add on it. Always. Why? Because when you wish somebody else's success, you get success from above. When you block it to somebody, let's say you say to somebody, "Oh, your success is so great. I wish that you always stay the same." What do you want? Me to die right now? You want me to freeze? You can't. Either you move on or you move backwards. You always have to be excited about somebody else's happiness because that's how you will be connected to happiness. Because that being sensitive, that's being authentic, says the Zohar. Shtei brachot hayu. There are two blessings in Moses' words. One, Hashem Elokei Avotechem, God gave you so much and made you so multiply. And the other one, and I wish you that God will bless you even more. You always have to unlimit, to open it up to others. That's how you learn to open yourself. That's how you learn, because if you wish good to others, goodness comes through you. And if you don't do that, you block it for others, you block it for yourself. Because if you're really happy about somebody else's success, you want him to be even more successful. So that's the secret. And this is what real love is about. It's something that has to be acquired through hard work. But that's our job. Thank you so much. And help each other. And Chag Sameach.